Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Tech Frenzy. An hour late, not actually. Like usually we start at 7. We're starting at 8, and we're probably going to be starting at 8 more often because it's earnings season time. If we end up checking the earnings calendar, we ended up doing Tesla today, and I actually missed an insanely important earnings date today. I don't know how it wasn't saved on my list. Do you guys know what company was extremely important that showed off earnings today, aside from Tesla? There might have been one you missed. Maybe some people in chat will say it. But there was a name that beat earnings severely. I mean, beat EPS by 23%. 23% on EPS, nearly 4% on revenue, and ended up showing that one of the companies that we love is doing so well. A couple IBMs, but no, the answer is Lending Club. I didn't even realize that Lending Club was doing earnings today. I thought it was after SoFi's. I don't know how I got that mixed up, and it wasn't saved on my thing on my watch list. Anyway, they ended up showing that their loan originations had just skyrocketed, up 37% year over year, which for SoFi would be great. For Lending Club, that's like earth shattering. They flew past the moon. They're on their way to the stars. It was just incredible for them. Double beat. How great of a sign was that for SoFi investors? I mean, truly, that's exactly what you want to see. Right? You want to see that the lending or the what do you call it? The total addressable market, the need for personal loans and for consolidating credit is at the highest points ever. And Lending Club just showed that off. And in fact, they showed it off in a few different ways, not only from doing loans for themselves, doing loans for others, but yeah, they have their own version of as a semi significant product like the loan platform business. Not as optimal, and they really are just targeting insurance companies. But yeah, they're showing a lot of growth for the loan demand. That is very exciting. Very, very exciting. I don't know, guys, if we can see any more signs for SoFi that they are going to blow it out of the water. EPS beat of 23%, 23.3%. How's that even possible? I mean, obviously it's possible, but for SoFi to do that, that's going to be quite insane. And we will. Anyway, it's funny that you can go on Polymarket today and bet on whether SoFi is going to beat earnings. Lending Club probably being the most comparable bet to SoFi. And if you look back, SoFi has essentially beat them on every single quarter. You can go to SoFi. There's an 80% chance they beat on earnings on Polymarket to the amount of 8 cents of EPS is what they're calling a beat. Okay. GAAP EPS greater than 8 cents. 80% chance. So if you get that right, that you are essentially getting a 25% return on that bet if you think that they are going to beat. I mean, you could miss as well. I'm not saying it's free money, but in my eyes, boy, oh boy, is that a high chance. I'm calling for 12 cents of EPS. That would be a 50% beat. We'll see. Even if we get 9, you still win. All right. Just to beat, I'm going all in. I don't even think it's available in the US or Canada or anything. That's the only problem with Polymarket. But yeah. No, not 20%. You would get a 25% return, right? Because you're going from 80 to 20. Like, that is a 20% difference, but the amount of money that you're putting in has to go up 25% to get to 100. So it's not a 20, it's a 20% gap to close, but that's actually your money would go up 25%. Stats, ladies and gentlemen, money, math, go back to class. Okay. It's just math. That's all it is. It's just math. Okay. Tanner, can I report you for that prediction that you just made? It's a prediction. I didn't say it was a guarantee. It's just my hope. Okay. Let's continue on. It was an absolute bloodbath today in certain positions. Actually, the fear and greed index actually hit extreme fear today. Let's see where it is right now. We just actually broke above extreme fear, but still not looking amazing. Rate between extreme fear and fear, 26 points. That's all right. That's all right. But earlier today, we were in extreme fear, and I just think that's so funny because you have names like NVIDIA that has fallen 2% and everyone freaks out. But on the other, way to look at it is that SoFi was at $31+ a share, just dropped 5+ percent today. It's all the way down to $27, about to show off what I hope is a triple beat. Then we end up looking at a name like BMNR, very speculative, shouldn't be looked at in this way, but still down 7.4%. This is some pretty drastic sell-off. Now, is the broader market in an extreme fear state? I don't think so. But I do think that we have more to go and that people are, not buying up this dip nearly as fast as I thought they would have. That's for sure. BMNR is definitely being held down by its underlying asset of Ethereum, but everything we're seeing from Ethereum looks great. I've been watching this as closely as I can, only continuing to be more and more bullish. But for example, what did we see over the last week or so in Ethereum? Shopify now supports ETH and stablecoin payments through Base on Shopify Payments and Shop Pay. Stripe ended up rolling out stablecoin payments through its Connect platform. Robinhood ended up tokenizing 500 US stocks on a custom Ethereum L2 using Arbitrum. Van Eck filed for a staking ETF or ETH ETF. Walmart confirmed that it will accept Ethereum and crypto payments through OnePay Cash integrated with Coinbase. Stablecoin supply on Ethereum hit an all-time high of $180 billion. Ethereum developer growth ended up hitting the highest we've ever seen, the fastest growth rate to 16,000 new developers joined in 2025. Alipay with 1.4 billion active users are building L2 called Jove, I think it was. Jove. Whole bunch of things. I mean, this is just constant. All sounds bearish. I know. But it's a speculative asset. And the price doesn't have to be tied one-to-one with the underlying activity, right? At least not in the short term. I think it's Jove. Govay. So in these times, people want to buy the dip. They feel like they've missed those things, but then people obviously get concerned that whenever things sell off, that they are buying a falling knife, that they are buying into something that's going away. And the only thing that I can possibly suggest is just look at Ethereum, look at what's happening to the network, see what's happening. It doesn't mean ignore Solana. It doesn't mean, if you see a bunch of activity heading towards Solana and people are leaving Ethereum to then start building on Solana, that could be concerning, There could be other, or if tempo ends up picking up. There were a couple signs that some higher up Ethereum developers had ended up taking jobs at Tempo. Okay? That can be scary, but we've also seen a lot of really high talented people leave Meta or leave OpenAI to go to Meta, and that hasn't helped Meta at all. So those are important things to keep an eye on, but it doesn't necessarily smell like spell doom immediately. That's also very important. I liked your Chime video. Thanks, B-dubs. I'm glad you did. I know it's funny, right? Like, I end up talking about a new name, and it's immediately like I'm putting it into a new audience's perspective. So whenever I talk about SoFi amongst this audience or BMNR amongst this audience, I don't have to convince too many, at least for SoFi. That's for sure. It's quite the echo chamber we have in here. But then I bring a new name into the mix, and I couldn't believe the amount of skepticism on a playbook that we've already ran before. Like, people are getting so mad online about me investing in a company that doesn't have as high of growth of SoFi and is not profitable right now. Guys, that's what I did whenever SoFi was SoFi a couple of years ago. Growth was slower than it is today, and they weren't profitable. Like, call me crazy back then. You know, I found a huge multi-bagger of a stock, but no, I'm crazy now by just absolutely replicating it with another name that is, you know, also young, not profitable yet. And I don't know. Some people also told me about the stock price. Don't worry about the $17. Share price does not, you know, conclude how high the stock can go. Look at market cap versus how much they're actually bringing in. Okay. So the market cap of Chime is about $6.5 billion. SoFi's market cap is $32 billion. These are not the same sized companies. Okay. So that's important to take into account whenever you're looking at how much revenue and how much growth or members, the average revenue per member. It's very, very different. Amit, what's up, brother? The SoFi trader. Yeah, I'm always talking about a lot of fintechs, and they come in all different shapes and sizes, right? I'm very happy to hold on to Robinhood at like a 35 times price to sales. I'm happy to hold on to SoFi at about a 11.5 price to sales, maybe 11 now with the recent sell-off. And I'm happy to hold on to Chime at a 4 times, less than that, 4 times price to sales. So I'm happy to take all criticism. It's the only way that I'm going to learn more about this business. I had some people send me stock-based compensation. If you guys look at their net income over the last quarter, you will see this massive loss in their last quarter. But it's stock-based compensation because they just IPO'd, okay? And people can say, yeah, that was a lot of stock-based compensation, and it was. But price that comparatively to what SoFi did whenever they went public. Price that comparatively what Hood did whenever they went public. Whenever Hood went public, they wrote off an insane amount. Actually, Vlad changed his founder shares. I think he actually gave back about $400 million of that stock-based compensation whenever the stock was really taking a hit. But at the time, it was like $950 million or something like this, 340% of revenue. So there are some signs that, you know, things copy. Please don't spam. I already said my opinions on ETH. Things are doing well. Tanner forced me to buy it. Amit, did you buy Chime? And by the way, the video that the stock that I reached out to you and I said, hey, can I pitch a stock? You can guess what it was. It's definitely Chime. And I've got more to say. I'll have follow-up videos on Chime. And I also want you guys to put into perspective, this is a small name for me, okay? I didn't go all in. I'm going to slowly build up. Not Chime, but SoFi. Got you. Yeah, I think I'm definitely more confident on SoFi's win this quarter than Chime's. It's like, even looking at their downloads and everything, SoFi's ramp in downloads and how many new members they're expecting is way higher than Chime's. And then you also have to think about, just if I'm going to be very honest with you guys, we were talking about Nubank and all these companies potentially coming in to compete with SoFi, and people were worried about what that means for SoFi. It means nothing for SoFi, but it could mean something for Chime, because because they're not going after affluent individuals and they're going after sort of the underbanked or unbanked individuals of the United States. That is Nubank's demographic. That's what they love. So very much the Venn diagram of potential customers for Chime and Nubank overlap quite heavily. So that does weigh in on you know, the Chime thesis. Did you sandbag your SoFi revenue EPS predictions? Maybe. It was very hard for me to get to where some other analysts are. Okay. I do think that there's going to be a ramp on credit cards. I do think there's going to be a ramp on loan platform business. I do think there's going to be a large ramp across the board. But we also have to remember whenever new members come onto the platform, they're not immediately as high revenue customers as old cohorts are. So it's not like they're jumping onto the platform and immediately making $20 a month. Like, so it was hard for me to try to get to the 1 billion revenue target without really extending myself. People thought I was crazy for putting in the 980,000 members. I think that's way easier to get to than try to bring up the revenue. But we'll see. We'll see. Overall, I think things are going to go well. I just read Devin Ryan's report on SBET today, compelling given below NAV, and still think BMNR is the winner. Yeah, I was surprised by some of his comments, him saying, SBET is the clear winner and they're the dominant power in ETH treasuries and stuff. They ranked them on a table and literally put this SBET name at a much lower, I think it was 4 billion or 3 billion market cap, above BMNR for some reason. I thought that was so interesting. But obviously, it could definitely be a compelling name for institutional investors as well. But SoFi doesn't want that lower tier customer that Chime has. Well, I hope they do. I hope SoFi eventually does. And that's the one thing I do think is amazing for SoFi, and why I'm not trying to convince SoFi investors to go to Chime. I think it'll be extremely hard for Chime. This is always the case, by the way. I think it's easy for a company like Amex that is known for going after an affluent customer to go downstream to lower customers, okay? It's very hard for a low-end, that targets the underserved to say, hey, we have a very premium target for this ultra high net worth customer. Hey, why don't you use Chime? They'd be like, Chime, isn't that for poor people? I'm kidding, obviously, but it is much easier to take a name brand that's associated with wealth and bring it downward. That's much, much easier. I don't think that SoFi doesn't want a lower tier customer. They do. They want everyone. It's just a matter of what is priority right now. Once they have market share in the affluent customer base, they'll move downstream, but they still have a lot more to go there. But they will. Tanner, is there a clear reason why we sold off today? What's your 2 cents? I think it's just market fears generally. I don't think there was anything in particular for SoFi. In fact, it was quite the opposite. Let's take a look at SoFi is down in after hours right now, just ever so slightly. Lending Club came out and said, hey guys, we destroyed earnings and lending has never been stronger, and people sold off SoFi. Do you not see the cross comparison here? SoFi is going to crush. What Lending Club just showed off just guaranteed our win. It guaranteed it. And even from the perspective of Anthony Noto, I'm so confident that it's a triple beat from him. And I'm not here to overly pump, but he's been retweeting bearish reports of SoFi and saying, everyone's entitled to their opinion. That is the most confident thing. He already knows he's going to have the last laugh. He's having fun with you guys now. I mean, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Sagig is in chat. Missed the show for a while. Are you actively buying Chime? How big are you planning this position to be compared to SoFi? Thanks. I don't think it's going to get bigger than 20% of my SoFi position, which essentially means, 2 to 3% of my portfolio. But I think that it could be easily, every analyst has over essentially 100% upside on Chime in the next year. Some of them are even 3-month-old reports. Everything that I've been seeing from Chime, because they continue to do fireside chats, they've given more and more bullish updates on the company through those chats, saying that MyPay loss rates are going down. They actually are guiding now for midterm that because MyPay is their only real credit product, their loss rates went from 1.6% to 1.4%, and now they're guiding that they're going to get down to 1%. Okay, so that's going to continue to drop. But if I can find a quick double in this name or even a triple in this name over the next 4 quarters, that's what I think I'm looking for here. It could turn out to be a failure. This could be like buying PayPal, and I think there's going to be a turnaround play or something like this. But PayPal was more of a turnaround in the company, and I thought that they could reaccelerate growth and value investors would come in and pick up the name. And I still made money on PayPal, okay? But it's definitely not as big of a win as I thought it would be through the 18 months that I held it through. I don't know what that was, 2023 and 24. Chime could be that. I don't think I'm going to lose a lot of money on Chime. Like, from everything I'm seeing, they're heavy in cash, little debt. We have to see some quarters, like how high is stock-based compensation going to be? The founders have been around since 2012, 2013. Is there going to be really hefty selling into the markets? Maybe. You know, there's some things I still need to see there, but overall, like, there's nothing wrong fundamentally with the business. They're bringing on more members. Margins are improving. Like, they will be profitable soon. You know, they're looking at getting incremental adjusted EBITDA margins, meaning every new dollar will be at these rates of about 40%. That's very exciting. That's very exciting. That's like, we talk about very positively about SoFi talking about 30% adjusted EBITDA margins, or sorry, incremental adjusted EBITDA margins. And everyone was fascinated about that. 40% is, you know, that's exciting. It's completely capital light business too. This is payments. This is not lending. So you're not going to see those bank valuations. None of that is going to hold them down. They are not a bank. This is a technology payments company. And the Chime charts look abysmal. And you know what? It looks so bad that I had to reach out to some TA guys that I know to be like, hey, am I missing something here? And they essentially said no. I even went to Paper Gains. I went to Jason. I said, bro, what's up with this name right now? And he said, I mean, at worst, or well, he didn't say, no, I don't want to put words in his mouth. But he said, essentially we're pretty close to the bottom, maybe, a really good support line's like 1675. I was like, sweet. That's my downside. Awesome. And then on the back of that, I get to bet that, more people are going to be coming onto Chime, using their payments, getting more products, them putting out more products. Let's not forget that. I mean, they've been a private company. They continuously expanded their portfolio of new product lines. You don't think that's going to happen? Well, I'm an investor. Come on now. Taking profits is always a good thing is the worst advice in stock market retail history. Well, it depends. Everyone's in a different situation, but I do think people should hold on for an uncomfortable amount of time. And they don't do that enough. So yeah. Tanner, I thought this was a casino. I don't think of it as a casino. No, I'm a little tied to the long-term performance of the markets, which has been a casino that pulls green 99.9% of the time. Doesn't mean every individual name pulls that green, but as a whole, it does. And remember, I watch the stock market on a 10-minute basis. So if something is turning extremely bad or one of my names is turning really, really poorly, I'm going to get out. So if you are not watching constantly, if you're not focused that much, it doesn't even need to be that often, but index investing is not terrible. It doesn't mean that my strategy is the only one that works for everyone. Buying the triple Qs works for a large amount of investors. Evan, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Rough day for the port indeed. But they happen. I mean, we can't have these insane sprees of just nothing but up. You have the average daily workers starting to ask for stock picks and say, hey, you know what? I've heard about Tesla and Nvidia and all of these names, and not have some red days and smart money pull on retail from time to time. The best thing that you can do, and Evan knows this, and many of you guys already know this because it's what I try to promote as much as possible, is buy the great names, because whenever the pull happens, nothing is over. If you're holding on to Amazon and Nvidia and all of these, like, what does the pull of a 2% or 6% day mean in the grand scheme of, next earnings, they're going to show off the best sales they've ever seen, and then we're back to pumping again. If you're buying, Beyond Meat, and you get stuck holding the bag and it was up and up and up and up, and then it just completely pulls out from under you, I mean, you might literally be holding on to dog shit or vegan dog shit or whatever. Plant-based dog shit. And that, I think, is the difference of how some people may have been investing. Speaking of which, if you guys are not following the Beyond Meat train, and why I use that as an example, let's just go over the last 5 days. So Beyond Meat was, essentially trading here at 55 cents, ended up running up. I don't even think that's true. I think it was even higher than that. Up to $7.70. No, that can't be true. Unless this was just pre-market. $8.70 plus cents. And then ended up in actual market hours, $7.70. There was a very famous post that's actually going viral now online. Some guy at $7.70 buys 10,000 shares. And then once that happened, we've just been continuously falling. Now down to $3.18. It's a good way to go to work every day and then blow up half your earnings. Don't buy lottery tickets. I don't know. GameStop, Open Door, Beyond Meat. Yeah, there's a couple of them. I think GoPro was another one. I'm sure we're going to see, GoPro today had quite the fluctuation. That's crazy. End up at one point, $1.91 to $2.72, back to $2.30 at close. Fun. Yeah, Oklo and all that. Yeah, I don't want to touch any of that. I don't want to, and it's not that I condemn people from investing in those types of names. Do you? But that's where I think, like, Chamath actually is right. Like, hey, if you lose all your money investing in GoPro and, Beyond Meat, like, I mean, do your research. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Okay. Let's continue on. By the way, Chime actually today launched their first ever holiday campaign, Bank Smarter, this season, with Jason Momoa. The Momoa Man. Aquaman's telling you that Chime's the way to go. So I don't care, or I don't know if you guys care about this. Maybe you guys are big Jason Momoa fans. But they know their targeted audience. This is very much a PayPal, Will Ferrell type experience. They know what they're doing. But yeah. You guys are saying on, I don't even see what's going on Twitch. Thank you, though. I can only see these comments. I can't see what's actually coming through, but thank you. So that's the reason you invested. Yeah, Jason Momoa got me. Sydney Sweeney would have been better. I mean, better for the stock for sure. Yeah. I'm sure he uses Chime. Yeah, not a chance Jason Momoa even set up an account. That's for sure. But, I'm sure they presented it. They're like, hey, you know what? We just offer a debit card. Actually, Chime needs to get into teen accounts and these sort of things. Those would be amazing. Like the branding that Chime has would go perfectly with teen accounts and youth accounts and parental controls. I'm sure they're working on that. And, I promise you guys, I sent my emails to the investor relations team. So I'll see if I can get an interview with Chris Britt, but maybe not. We hold off. SoFi got to Timothy Sweeney. What does that mean? What? They hire him or something? What does that mean? Ooh, Kathy Wood ended up buying more Robinhood today in a lot of different portfolios, but actually not in her fintech portfolio. She bought it in the Innovation and Internet Fund, as well as Netflix, selling off Shopify, Roku, Roblox, Palantir, AMD, all in the pursuit of buying more Robinhood. I'll take it. Anthony Noto, the great and powerful SoFi CEO, says crypto is coming back. In fact, not only did he end up tweeting this, they ended up actually rolling out an advertisement on X saying a very similar thing as well, and saying, join our waitlist by November 30th. According to this waitlist as well, that they're actually going to start the giveaway on December 1st, or the entry phase. So if you actually click through to this, and we end up reading through this, that was not the, I ended up losing where I was, right here. So it says, the sign-up phase starts October 15th. The entry phase starts December 1st at 12 a.m. That just specifically happens right after the sign-up phase ends by November 30th. So this is where I think the entry phase is when crypto for SoFi is actually going to be released. It's my hunch. I got level 1 options today. Yeah, I heard this as well. And for the Canadian viewers, we actually just got a Wealth Simple. They're starting to be very much like Robinhood, doing these presentations in front of large audiences and stuff. We got some pretty cool products as well. Absolutely zero commission, zero contract fees, trading for options, many different complex option strategies as well. Brand new sort of like legend platform online. So if you're a Canadian, check out Wealthsimple. I don't have a referral link or anything along those lines. Just they are the Robinhood of Canada. And honestly, going to give stiff competition to Robinhood if they do come to Canada. I'm definitely not jumping to Robinhood. I mean, they'd have to show me that the platform that they have is better than Wealthsimple because they're moving very fast. Taryn, can you put that leather jacket back on? No, that's when the market's open. Yeah. Temu Robinhood of Canada. It's not that bad. I think they just said that they passed 100 billion of assets under management. That's, roughly 1/3 of Robinhood. It's not like they're tiny, tiny, tiny. You can ask a question on their earnings call and you wouldn't switch. They'd have to show me that they're going to give me the same platform. Like if I got 1-for-1, the platform that you guys have versus the Wealthsimple platform, I would. But if I'm getting the UK version where they're just rolling out commission-free trading and these sort of things, like nothing else, no, I'm not switching. If I get the credit card and the, by the way, they lowered the crypto trading costs on Wealthsimple way, way down. I'm actually going to have to, use Wealthsimple for crypto purchases now as well. Yeah. Okay. We going to get a Chime analysis video? I already gave you one, LJ. It's called The Next SoFi. I think that's what I named it, or that's the thumbnail or something. It was my latest video. Chime video's out. D-local video when? Sometime. Maybe next week or something. Not soon. Okay, what do you guys want to see next for tomorrow's video, for example? I was going to make a BMNR video. There's been a lot of Ethereum updates, things like this. But then we saw Lending Club end up showing off their earnings today. And I really want to go through those numbers and show you guys how important, like what it means if you're a SoFi investor. That's important. So maybe we can poll that or something on the YouTube. I hate whenever I talk like that on the YouTube, like I'm a boomer or something. I'll just put it on the online. Okay. What video should be next? Lending Club for SoFi or BMNR update? Let me know. Okay. Intel, BYD. I don't really care about any of that, to be honest. I mean, we might end up doing a live stream for Intel tomorrow, but I'm not making a video on Intel. I don't think many people honestly care about Intel. Nubank. I do need to do an update on Nubank. I promise you guys, I'm still extremely bullish on Nubank. Nothing's changed for me. You know? Vote BMNR if you don't care. You guys are messing with the results. Okay. Lending Club versus Chime, they're not really comparable at all. One's like heavily a lending business, and the other one's just heavily consumer payments. You know? All my money is on SoFi. You must be very excited then going into this earnings. Please do more new coverage. They have been silently doing good work in the background. Yeah, I know they have. But also, it's like, I don't know how many times I need to say that. So I think that like maybe you want me to like pump the stock, but they're not doing anything groundbreaking right now. If they end up entering into a new geography or something, then maybe I can talk about how they've replicated their business in Mexico and Colombia and what they're going to do in Argentina or something like this. But just saying, hey, they're offering their members more benefits and they're doing exactly what they did last week and the week before that and the week before that. That's not a video. So I'm not just here to pamp stock. Okay. There's nothing I can add to a Shopify video or to a Nubank video. They're just handling business. Okay. Unless I get earnings or something, then at least I have some new information I can talk about. But yeah. I don't care about bill earnings, not even a little bit. Stop posting. I don't care at all. Should I buy SoFex or SoFi? To be very honest, you should buy, if you're going to buy one or the other, I would buy SoFi. I do not like leveraged funds at all. I think they cost way too much for the leverage for what they are. There's other ways that you can put leverage on those stocks, but I would not, I'm not a fan of them. You're not going to catch me buying them. But also, like, if you feel so confident in SoFi, do what you want. Trade SoFi or trade SoFX, invest in SoFi. Yeah, I mean, that's, I don't think that's terrible. There goes the video. Just gave financial advice. Yeah. It's healthy financial advice. I think anyone, I think you're allowed to give financial advice whenever you're like, hey, you know, put your money in savings and don't buy that, you know, Gucci bag. That's financial advice. No one ever cares. But if someone says, hey, man, you got to go freaking all in with leverage on, you know, Beyond Meat, people are like, okay, well, that's not historically what has done well. So I think saying buy the underlying asset rather than the 2x levered ETF, I mean, I can feel pretty confident in saying that's a decent thing to have, or a decent thing to suggest. What's your price target for end of year for SoFi? Go watch my video. I just did this. I did a price target video that was so hot it got banned on YouTube and then put back on YouTube very quickly. And I'm not even joking. It literally got flagged. That's why all these jokes are saying that they're going to flag me or report me, is because they did. Not these guys, not Robert, but some sort of thing. Also, I heard this happened on, I swear this is true, on my video, on Stock Goat's video, and on Uncle Bruce's video, all on SoFi, all saying that we were promoting scams or guaranteed returns, and all of them got appeals granted and returned back on YouTube. What is that? What is that? All on SoFi? No one on Beyond Meat and Open Door and frickin' like all these insane names that have been pumping and have people on Wall Street bets and like crypto names and penny stocks and all of these. None of those are getting taken down. SoFi names are getting taken down. What is that? Yeah, it was not a person that reviewed my video that got me pulled down. It was large numbers of flagging, and then just a machine automatically pulled me down. The second was human reviewed, it was returned. Meaning I didn't do anything wrong, and someone was attacking my video. I was having some sort of troll attack that was flagging my videos. But honestly, guys, I had so much support on that video, not only reaching out to YouTube and so much, yeah, I don't know. It felt super heartwarming that whenever I said, hey, you know what, my stuff got pulled down, that people were like, no, Tanner would actually be the last guy to, you know, guaranteed returns. It's like, thank you. I literally try to say like every video, like I'm doing this for me, you know? I really try to adamantly say I'm not trying to promote any names. I'm not trying to suggest that like me and you have different timelines, different stomachs for investing. If I do my own work, you guys are not going to have the same conviction to hold through hard times. So you guys need to do your own work. I promote, you know, doing your own work, listening to earnings calls, all of these things. I try not to have trust me, bro energy. I'm really trying to show you guys what I'm looking at. And some of it might be gut feeling on my part, but then I hope to tell you guys it's just a gut feeling. Don't trust an idiot like me. Okay? I'm just doing my best. Seriously. So that fast return and how supportive you guys were through that ban and then rewatching the video and everything was amazing. Because I know a lot of creators get stuck in those situations and they're so small, like my account, where I have no Google or YouTube representative. No one's calling me or texting me or anything like this. And if it's your work, if this is like what I do for a living, well, how crazy would it be if my YouTube video started to get flagged and I was removed off this platform? I mean, maybe your lives would be the same, but that would be That would suck. So that's why just yesterday, a lot of you guys ended up going over to the Twitch and following there, just in case if I do end up getting somehow removed or whatever, that I have somewhere else. So I don't think I will. Honestly, the strike went away. I'm in the good graces of YouTube right now. It was a scary moment that, like, without discussion, without a message, my thing got pulled down. Zero trial. That's crazy. Yeah. Okay. What did you guys think about Tesla earnings? Is this a name worth purchasing? Should we pick up this dip down 3.6%? According to Elon, I mean, they're going to have some of the best chips in the world that are designed with Samsung away from NVIDIA. They still said they're going to be using NVIDIA and everything, but are you guys touching this? You know, Cybercab supposedly is going into full production starting Q2 of 2026. Optimus is essentially going to be an infinite money glitch, which, I mean, could really be the case. I mean, humanoids, I think, are going to change everything whenever they become fully efficient. I think the time that it takes for them to get there is going to be a long time. I mean, if we remember the early times of Elon talking about full self-driving and how fast we would be there, I mean, there were some claims, if I'm not mistaken, like going back to like FSD was going to be a thing in 2017. Like, it was a long time. Okay. Now, a decade later, we're going to have something very legitimate. I think Optimus could be a similar version of that. And I'm not trying to be anti-Tesla. I think we're going to have Optimus robots for very simple tasks in homes soon, folding laundry. That's not an infinite money glitch. The infinite money glitch is whenever they can be sent to service calls and fix plumbing and do factory work and do all human labor jobs. That's when it becomes the infinite money glitch. That's probably a decade away. Okay? And this is honestly constantly what I'm seeing from humanoids and from Tesla and all of these names is they go, hey, what you're about to see is the next, like, this is AGI. This is completely the future. Brad Adcock said, hey, the video you guys are about to see tomorrow is 2050. And it's like a robot trying to do dishes and breaks the glass on the counter. And like, it looks clunky as shit. And it's like, okay, 2050? No, it's a good demo. I mean, your robot looks nice, but it looks like a 2026 robot. And I'm appreciative of it. But like, the claims are just crazy. Brett Adcock. Yeah, it's not even Brent either. It's Brett, which is what I said. I didn't say Brett or Brent. Okay, let's see what nobody has to say. That's where I buy my BMNR. You look gay. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Bert? Okay, guys, chill. Whoever debuts the first sex bot wins. But I honestly think we get to sex bots way earlier than we get to an infinite money glitch and like full-on labor, like, you know? Circle or BMNR, to me, that's not a, I think BMNR. That's not up for discussion. I mean, it is, but yeah. You said, Brad, bro, we all heard it. You're the only person that's saying that. There's almost 1,200 people here, and Kurt Nisdorf is saying that. Nixdorf. My net worth was higher before I invested in BMNR. Yeah, I mean, that's what stock going down means. Okay. You must be the first person experiencing this. It happens. And also, if you Don't bring your concerns to me. If you don't want to hold it, sell the name. You don't like BMNR, don't buy it. You don't believe in Ethereum. Okay? I'm just saying I like it. So by the information that I'm seeing, Ethereum is just the other, did I save this? Here, wait. I think it was either today or just yesterday that Ethereum hit another all-time high for usage. And it's like, that cannot continue forever. Oh, wait. This was important too. Senator Cynthia Loomis said, big day in Washington for digital asset market structure. Now, that probably means nothing, you know. That's what's really going to see huge changes in the prices of Ethereum and Bitcoin is regulation, allowing institutions to go very heavy in these types of things. Robinhood announces that BNB is now available for trading on Robinhood crypto. That's one of the largest cryptos. It's the Binance coin. So if you guys are interested in that, you can find that now on Robinhood. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. They also announced that they hit $1 billion on Robinhood Strategies, sort of their robo-advisor product. It's cool. It's on 180,000 funded accounts. Once again, it's not going to make any financial difference to the company, but it's good to see. This thing on Ken Megan's profile, what he ended up tweeting, is going to make a financial difference for both of these businesses. SoFi on the Android Play Store rankings is now holding 14th, above Chase Mobile, Wells Fargo, and then over at 25th right here is Robinhood. But I don't think I've ever seen, or at least not too often, SoFi at these rankings, especially on Android. Usually they rank on Android a little bit worse. SoFi, I checked today, I think they were 24th. So they're a little bit worse on the Apple App Store. But still, we're not used to being in the 20s. We're used to being like late 30s, like 36, 38. There's been a seismic change in their growth. And by the way, that cannot be compared one-to-one. We have to remember, all of these companies are spending more on sales and marketing. Like, there's a rising tide that's lifting all boats. Every company is trying to get ahead, okay? So them going from 30 to 14 cannot be a measurable difference in the amount of downloads. It's not like there's a bunch of static players on the game and SoFi is climbing up that ladder. No, they're all trying to climb, and SoFi's climbing faster than them. That's the important thing, right? It's even measuring them on a quarter-to-quarter basis through assets under management, or consolidated assets, I should say. The important part about that is that every bank is growing their assets. Every single one, or at least trying to. And yet SoFi continues to climb faster, and by the way, at the fastest rate of change on that list than any of the other 500 or some odd names of commercially large banks that have over $300 million in consolidated assets. They went from like 450th place whenever they were placed on that list 2 years ago, and now they're like 54th. Tanner, do you foresee whether SoFi will reduce the spending of marketing and advertising next year? No. I mean, they will if there's a headwind, right? They won't speed up spend. But right now, if everything goes the way that we're expecting it, which is more rate cuts in 2025 and 2026, all they're going to do is spend even more. That's not a bad thing. If SoFi can, the interesting part about SoFi, and I'll bash Chime here and I'll bash Robinhood here, there is zero correlation to the amount that they spend to the amount of customers that come on their platform. Some quarters, they'll have CAC costs that are $40 a person. And then in other quarters, they'll have $1,200 CAC costs because they spent and no one came. Okay? SoFi, across the board, flat. The amount that they spend brings on, like for every $300, brings on a new user like clockwork. That means they can control, like a dial, how fast they want to grow the business. That's extremely powerful. Okay. And what that means is that If SoFi's 14th on the list here, they're deciding, hey, you know what? Click, 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 click. We're going to ramp it up. And if we want to continue ramping, and the comments that Anthony Noto says about getting to 50 million members, you realize like maybe this is just a dial for him. Maybe this is just something they need to turn up the heat. And as long as people continue to come on the platform and they're getting the products that they want, whether that's level 1 options or teen accounts or good home loans, good student loans, whatever it is, he just has to turn up the heat, which is more and more sales and marketing, but hopefully it's lower as a percentage of total revenue. Because the interesting part about CAC costs, especially for a bank, you're only paying for new users. Duh. But if they bring on a customer this year, which I think the CAC, the payback period of a customer on SoFi, I think is 12 to 13 months. Okay. Meaning that they're expected to pay back $300 like of revenue in about 12 to 13 months per user. Some are faster, some are slower. But the next year, let's say you're bringing in $300 per user. That user that we brought in 2019 made $300 for SoFi. 2020, they made $300. 2021, $300. 2022, $300. So sales and marketing, if they continue to bring on the same users, should just keep falling as a percentage of new revenue. Because, and Chime has a great slide about this. So I'm actually going to show you guys Chime slide, because SoFi doesn't actually show off this data. Hopefully we get an investor day, because that would show off this type of information. But we would end up seeing something like this. This is a slide from my video that I ended up showing off today. But customers would come in with an amount of revenue, okay? Now this would be a little bit different. This is just purchase volume. But imagine each individual cohort coming on, and their amount of money that they're making on SoFi just doesn't stop. But then they go out and get new users, and then those users don't stop. And then those users don't stop, and then those users don't. And then it just keeps compounding on top. It just makes this huge mountain, okay? The only difference is that SoFi is strengthening their relationship with their users. So each individual cohort should look like it's widening, okay, which is even stronger. Then you get like a theme that you would see from Shopify or something. Shopify has a great slide about how each individual cohort is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. It looks unbelievable. But you only paid for that customer once. But that's the interesting thing, right? The JP Morgans, all of these customers, or all of these banks, the reason why like Warren Buffett loves banks is because for real, you can pay for a customer 40 years ago. And throughout that time, they've increased their deposits. They've gotten more rich through investing products. Eventually, they've gotten a home loan. Like you've paid for this customer one time, and you've potentially gotten tens of thousands of dollars out of them, like an insane return. And they haven't looked elsewhere because you were there to solve their problems whenever they had one. That's why, and this is really interesting, I'm going to hurt some people's feelings here. Robinhood, which I love, and they're sprinting, and they're making a lot of headwinds, or they're making a lot of headlines, and doing things extremely new and running fast. In banking, you can't run fast. Okay, I'm realizing this because the second that you create a problem, you could potentially lose a lifetime customer. And there's a lot of lifetime customers in banking. And as long as you don't piss them off, they have zero reason to look elsewhere. They're happy. It works. They don't want to try something new. It's why JP Morgan and Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they've got this huge cohort of people that know they're making no money. And they go, yeah, but I don't want to get into the whole trying something new. SoFi, if they can continue to potentially not go down, not take away buy buttons, not like, I'm not saying that like, I'm really villainizing Robinhood right here, and I don't even believe that. I mean, they are doing a lot great, more great than they're doing wrong. But treating banking like a SaaS company also has its effects, right? Because like Meta or like Reddit or any of these businesses where they run so fast and break things, no one cares because I'll go on Facebook tomorrow. But if you lose someone money or break that financial relationship, people get extremely upset. And so it's different. Not being able to play Farmville for one day is not the same as not being able to close out on your options contracts. That is a different feeling. Okay? I'm just being objective here. I still have a huge position on like, I don't want to talk down Robinhood. I love Robinhood. I think they will be a multi-$100 billion financial institution. Okay? They're going to do amazing. But SoFi is also doing great. They're just very different strategies. They want to have a flawless reputation. SoFi does. They want to do nothing wrong. And in doing that, there's going to be a large cohort of people that find that very respectful to deal with. Okay, SoFi is a very, very trusted banking name while being very young. That's very rare. A lot of varies. Leave Farmville out of this. Yeah. It's funny. What is the BMNR versus BMNR? 62%. Lending Club video 37%. I know people want more up because it has been so speculative in the stock price as well. It's yeah. I'm going to see if I can find that Shopify slide of the cohorts that continue to ramp, but I want the specific version of that slide. I know they've done it in a couple different ways, and I don't know if they did it this way last quarter. I don't think they did. Yeah, I just ran through the whole slide. Oh, well. Another great name, by the way. I'll never, you'll never see me really talking poorly about Shopify. And honestly, might be my favorite name in the entire stock market to just hold till my retirement. Because of all those effects that I love about banking, like to pay a customer once, own them for a lifetime, those relationships get stronger over time. You expand the total, like these types of businesses, I just understand them, or at least I'd like to think I understand them. And they're very easy for me to follow. And then monitoring those positions is just whether or not their technology stays, you know, top of the, or like front of the crowd. And Shopify definitely is. Everything else will handle itself. Based on the Canadian economy at the moment, Shopify may be the only company standing in the next 10 years. I mean, you might be right. Okay. Shopify is great. The growing free cash flow and strong growth every earnings. Yeah, the free cash flow on Shopify. Mwah. Should I bet on the Knicks to win? Yes. Is Hood cooked? Not at all. They're going to do amazing. They're going to do amazing. They're going to enter so many markets and have the best products in those markets that even the people that they upset or potentially turn away is not going to make a dent. You know, you're going to get 50 new customers for every one you turn away. But SoFi, I hope, is not going to turn away any customers. They come back, they can. You have high conviction on upcoming Shopify earnings? Yes. Tanner, your BMNR stock price. I don't really have one. It's going to depend on ETH, really. Do you only read YouTube comments? Well, I mean, there's like 12 people on Twitch and 1,130 people on YouTube. So it does seem like I'm only reading YouTube comments, but I am reading Twitch comments. But like, I think you guys were talking about like Twitch subs or whatever, which I appreciate that, but like hard for me to talk about it here. What's the biggest drop or rise in SoFi or on SoFi on earnings day? I think we've seen a long time ago a 20+% move. I don't think we're going to see anything like that. I hope to see double digits, but I still even think like that might be asking a lot. I don't know. This is going to be a very different earnings from any other previous time. The price is very different. I'm so surprised how we're selling off. Like I feel like the market should have so much more information than what it feels like they're trading on. Gap EPS of 8 cents. Like, the only way that I believe that it will come in anywhere around 8 cents is that if they truly put so much into sales and marketing that they just obliterated their margin. But I don't think that's going to be the case. What time is it? 9 p.m.? Yeah, I can have coffee. Do we get back to 30 on SoFi? I definitely think we do. I definitely do. But I'm not making any options that expire that have to guarantee that it's at 30. I'm holding shares long term and hope that it goes higher. What's going on with IonQ overnight? What is going on with IonQ overnight? Up 13%. Up 13. Let's find out. This was just in the last couple of minutes. Did they break NVIDIA GPUs or something? Just in, quantum computing companies discuss giving equity stakes to U.S. government in exchange for chip R&D funding, sources say. Quantum computing names discuss giving equity stake. So wait, are they going to the U.S. government and saying, hey, give... because that would be funny. Trump admins in talks for stakes. No, they're going to IonQ, Rigetti, D-Wave in talks for government taking stake. That would be crazy, dude. We're doing rare earth minerals and quantum names. You know what else they should do? Actually, no, I'm not going to say that. We need the... No. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Up 15% now on the night here. This is just in the last couple minutes. That was a good spot from whoever that was in chat. Who was that, by the way? That person watches markets like crazy. I don't know. I don't remember where that was. Qubits. Is it down 15%? Up 16%. That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. Recover it all in a day. Cool. Rigetti. Quantum computing up 9, up 13, up 17, up 15.4. D-Wave looking to catch the big bulk of this. Wow. Let's that's an incredible pump. And I mean, hey. Call up Noto. Tell him to send Donnie Trump a couple shares. The community port needs a portfolio or needs an ETF. Guys, don't buy that. I got to be fully honest with you guys. I've got a video that's going to be sent out in a year from now, like whenever that community portfolio has done a year, and talk about how bad of an idea it was. No, I mean, it's good, but we just got demolished by the amount of meme trades. I think what you guys do, this is my conspiracy. I think you guys invest smartly. I think we invest in good names, and then because you have speculative, like even me, every day I don't want to talk about Shopify and NVIDIA. I want to talk about Chime, but that makes up for such a tiny percentage of my portfolio. So if I had to donate to someone's, like if Amit had a community portfolio, I'd send him Chime, And I think everyone sent the most speculative names that they have, which just lends itself to not performing well because they're all speculative names. So I'd also like to see the community portfolio without SBET getting $1,000 donation at $37. I mean, maybe that is just skewing the results here. But it is just for fun, and it is fun. It is definitely fun. But boy, oh boy, if it was an ETF, I would say stay away. I would say stay away, ladies and gentlemen. This is the community portfolio. It's completely ran by donations from you guys to me. It's not a fund. It's not distributions. It's just donations. And some names, honestly, you guys were early. Okay. So got to give credit where credit's due. There's some absolute bangers in here. And tomorrow, a lot of these quantum names are going to run a lot. But overall, we are down during a period of insane, insane positive market moves. I'm up $100 after taking the Knicks bet. Do I sell? No. No, you don't sell. We hold. Amit is not going to be happy. He's not going to care. Did he take a short position in quantum? Looks like they're coming down off their highs now. I mean, maybe this is a short-term slight sell. Maybe we found the top of this pump. We'll see. Is Rigetti looking for new highs? D-Wave coming back down, still way higher than what we think. He's just been ranting a lot. Yeah, no, but it is. I don't know. I think the market feels healthiest whenever the companies that people are buying in any sector are making revenue and profit, regardless of what you do. I think it's always scary, no matter what it is, to invest in a company that's, pre-profit, pre-revenue for the most part. That's hard for any new business. So for the traditional investors, it's just hard to see. It's hard for me to see. They're very pricey for no real reason. Well, it's not for no real reason. I mean, the reason is that if it is real, and the D-Wave video or whatever, where he talked about, how they're just going to kill all NVIDIA chips or whatever. If that ends up happening, I mean, what? You're going to be one of the biggest companies, multi-trillions of dollars, everything like. Yeah, like, so if this is what is real, now just because someone says this doesn't mean I have to believe them. But if this turns out to be real, then yeah, fine. It will still be cheap to buy these names.
I think it's important for us to recognize that quantum computing is the biggest revolution in computing that has ever occurred. For the last 80 years, we've had transistors, resistors, silicon, and we're moving to something else, and we're moving to something more energy efficient and more powerful. Exactly what and when quantum computing can impact every single aspect of applied science is obviously a phenomenon which we're leading, but it's accelerating at a pace which humans are struggling to comprehend.
Okay. There was another interview that he ended up doing where he said that by 2027, all NVIDIA chips will be outdated. To me, like, good luck. Like, I don't know. It's not the first time that people have come out with this magical technology saying, this snake oil is going to cure all diseases. I'm not even saying that it is snake oil. I don't know enough. But from everything that I've heard, we're not even remotely near real solutions from quantum computing. Okay? Jensen's not taking it seriously. Elon's not taking it seriously. These guys have been around so freaking long. From my understanding, this IonQ guy doesn't even have a real background. Like he said he went to Harvard and stuff. I think he went to like Harvard through a high school program or something. Like his background is very sketchy from my understanding. So I don't want to be a part of that trade. It just feels wrong. I think there's certain trades that feel right, and there's certain trades that don't feel right. And quantum and nuclear and some of these things are they're going to be real, but they're going to be a long ways away. It's like betting on the computer in 1960 or something. Yes, but you're a little early. You know? Harvard online certificate. That's correct. He basically faked going to Harvard. Yeah, I heard that. And then another school or whatever. He said that he went to something, but it wasn't I don't know, it's like a sister school of the actual program. It's all very weird. I don't like it. I don't have to invest in it. And I'm going to invest in other names that I know will still do well. Quantum computing or not, there's going to be banking. You know? You're not correct on nuclear. It's already, you are correcting me about nuclear as if I don't know that nuclear's not already here. I know, I know nuclear is here. I just think, for example, isn't Oklo, like, they're going to start being profitable or something like 10 years from now? Like, it's an extremely long period away. And people are running up the stock today knowing that later on there's going to be some great investments. I think some people, historically, this is just true. It happens constantly in real, like the .com was an overinflated bet on the internet. The internet was 100% real and way more important than they were even putting on back then. But they were still early. You can be early into a trade. You can be right and early at the same time. That's happened countless times throughout history. You know? It's cheaper to buy Tesla and bet on their humanoid outlook and all of these things. I think people care too much about market caps and not enough about multiples. Everyone's looking for the next like $1 million, $1 billion name and going, hey, but one day this will be $1 trillion, rather than buying the $1 trillion company worried about it going to 10 trillion. I think that's so much more important. Yes, that is 100% true. I think they were called dark fiber, something I forget the name. Someone's going to tell. They laid all the cables in the ocean. Then they went bankrupt, and now these are being used every single day. They didn't even get to, get the fruits of their own labor, because a lot of the, what do you call it? Investment was in, pulled too far forward. So it does happen. Okay. Let's see here. Are you bullish on Tesla after the latest earnings? I'm bullish on the future that Elon is creating. I'm not bullish on the multiple that I have to pay for that future right now. So yeah. I'll be running all future bets by you. What, did you make some money? What happened? You're welcome, Evan. Thank you. Appreciate the dono. Tanner, literally. Yeah, I mean, I just had a hunch. He tweeted out a minute ago, I may have found my quant. He made 450. Evan made $457.17, and now I'm getting followers on X because he has like 600,000 plus followers. And now they all think I'm some sort of sports fanatic. I just said a word. I didn't even know the Knicks was a New York. I know nothing about sports. You're welcome. He paid $235. Sorry, he got out $457. Nice. Gotta love making, what is that, $222? I love that for you, Evan. People are going to expect sports tweets from me. You're not going to find them. I freaking knew it. Tanner was going to say he didn't even know who the Knicks were. Yeah. That's funny. I do like MMA. I can, but also, sometimes I find like we used to have these parties where we'd end up watching like, the next UFC event or whatever. And we'd always get everyone to put a little money into a pool just so then everyone's watching the game, right? And the not only like all the friends, but their spouses as well and stuff. And you just sort of tell them you'd show them pictures of the two fighters, you'd show them their records and say, hey, okay, do you think this is going to be submission, knockout? What round do you think it goes to time? And then you end up creating a score. Anyway, there's definitely been a couple times where the spouses have just won because they're looking and they go, okay, well, that guy's got more muscles, and and they just bet right, Okay, the record is they usually do knockouts in round one. Okay, we're knockout in round one. So, sometimes even having that information advantage in the sports gambling just does you no good. But yeah. Funstrap pumps overnight. What happened? What, like, that kind of lines up with the quantum move. Does Granny Shots have quantum in its fund? I didn't think it did. Does it? You sniped it and they went on like a 12. I'm surprised you put $235 on, my dumb recommendation, but I'm very happy for you. That's awesome. That's a nice dinner right there. They do bet on the looks, but sometimes that works. You see some crazy Dagestani fighter that just looks like, if he doesn't pour his heart out into this fight, he's getting sent home. Like, I mean, it's been a historically good bet. Bet on the Dagestani fighter to win. That investment has some chops for sure. Okay. How do you calculate BMNR share count? Sometimes it's disclosed. We're going to get another disclosure for BMNR total share count on earnings. But every time that they raise money, we see exactly how much cash they have, usually when they raised, and then how much ETH at the price that they bought ETH. So you kind of just total how much they raised and then divide it out by what you think the cost of shares that they sold at on private markets. You try to do some rough back of the napkin math. Or the ones who wrestle bears. Those are the Dagestanis. The ones that wrestle bears are the Dagestan. That's the same guys. That's Habib. That's Islam. Those are all those guys. They wrestle bears. There is a real video online of Khabib, like as a kid, wrestling a small baby bear. It's very funny. Never bet on the guy eating Beyond Meat. Yeah. Well, how many pro fighters are there that are vegan? I know Arnold recently, he's not a pro fighter at all. Don't tag this and be like, hey, Tanner thinks Arnold Schwarzenegger is an MMA fighter. No, but he actually just recently went vegan, being, one of the largest men in human history. I think it's kind of interesting. There are a couple pro fighters and athletes that have gone vegan recently. I don't care about it. But if there is something to pump Beyond stock, it would be some sort of vegan craze. But I had fajitas last night. I'm not doing Beyond Chicken. We're doing the real chicken. There's no other way to do it. Are the Diaz brothers vegan? I actually feel like I that is something that I remember. The Diaz brothers might be vegan. Cigars and veganism. Hey, man. I don't know, man. I don't like the chicken. Okay. Oh, they eat fish and eggs. Okay, well, that's not vegan. Tanner, have you seen the sports betting trend of people betting against women athletes when they're on their period? No, I've not seen that, and I wish I didn't even read this. How do you even know? They're not telling you. Yeah, the girlfriend was pounding chicken for fajitas. It was good. It was the best. I had like 4 of them. So good. I'm a vegan, but not a strict vegan. I still eat fish, chicken, beef, and pork. There's a hedge fund trading off that data. How do they know that data? That doesn't make any sense to me. It must just be guesses, right? That's insider information. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Prediction markets change the whole game for what insider trading is. Like, okay, so is a CEO not allowed to insider trade, but can Noto bet on Poly Market that SoFi is going to beat EPS? Is that under insider trading? I mean, if not, does the, I don't know. That's very interesting to me. I heard there's a lot of vegans, Steve, that are vegan, and then whenever they drink, they're not vegan. Is that the case? I hear that's a thing. Like whenever people get drunk, they eat meat. No? Can we talk about number 44 posts from Noto? I don't even know what you're referring to. Let's see. Shares of IonQ and other large quantum stocks surge over 14% on news that the Trump administration is in talks to take stakes in several quantum computing companies. Yeah. Oh, wait, we got another thing here. Mass buybacks are incoming. Buyback authorization announcements have risen. This is actually not a good thing. I'm going to tell you guys this in a second. It might be in this article, but we'll see. Buyback authorization announcements have risen 16% year over year so far in 2025, reaching a record 1.15 trillion. This marks the second consecutive yearly increase. Since the 2020 low, share repurchase authorizations have more than tripled. Meanwhile, buybacks by the 4th largest U.S. banks jumped $9.6 billion year over year, 83% to $21.1 billion in Q3 of 2025. So banks are heavily buying back. Buybacks will add fuel to the fire. Yes, it does. However, Warren Buffett made an article a while ago, probably 20 years ago, talking about how no company likes to buy back their stock whenever it's cheap. And for some reason, companies are always buying whenever things are extremely hot. And he made some comment. It's been a while. Obviously, I didn't read it 20 years ago, but I read it probably, 8 years ago or something, about how whenever you start to see people really, really accelerating on buybacks, it can actually be a sign of like, hey, we're actually like things are getting really excitable right now. Obviously, buybacks are good, but it doesn't mean that all these companies think that their stock is cheap. That's not true. Usually, they're just bad stock purchasers, and people need to make sure that they understand that. It's like, just because like investors are usually good investors and the business operators are really good business operators, but it doesn't mean that the business operators are good investors. How often do you drink alcohol? Almost never. Voice pitch can register cycle. Matthew, if you are talking about the female menstrual cycle comment that was made earlier, what do you do for a living? You have too much information about females right now. What are you doing? Are you like what are they called? Like OBGYN or whatever? What's the actual name for that? Why can't I think of that? And what's that called? Gynecologist. There we go. I had to look it up. I knew comments were coming, but I was freaking out. Dentist. He's playing checkers, not chess. Yes, Matt, I had a brain lapse. It happens a lot. Let's chat Bitmine. I'm down. Let's get some ETH news. I mean, what's very interesting is honestly, we are just every week going to see more and more companies building on Ethereum. That's what I think you should focus on whenever buying BMNR. Okay? There's not too much, like, we need to make sure that they don't run out of cash. We need to make sure that there's not some insane push to another L1 or something like this. That tempo is not picking up speed very quickly. But yeah. Yeah, okay, let's see. No, there's no, sorry, I thought there was this Ethereum comment that was just made, but it's not true. Do we give them cash if they run out? Well, yes and no. I mean, if they're under 1 times MNAV, then investing could mean that you're buying into much cheaper rates for BMNR at that point. But it doesn't mean that our cash can end up being larger than the institutions that might be selling out. And SBEC really got caught in that spiral where they got all the way up to like $37 a share, and then they just couldn't. They were buying too heavily, and then Ethereum started crashing. People pulled out their money. They didn't buy more Ethereum, and so they just got stuck in this position with no cash. Well, I mean, you do give them cash. We are the ones that are fueling. Like, if we give them a premium, then they're going to go out and dilute. That is the essential giving them cash. ETH went down today because you don't have the ETH hat on. I don't have the ETH hat in this room, actually. Yeah. But I will continue. What do you think about the upcoming staking in BMNR? I think about it positively. I don't know why they're not doing it. I'm excited about earnings. I'm excited about, the staking part. But honestly, I have a lot of conviction in BMNR. The ETH hat can save us. Yeah, I need to make an update because, I'm not as pessimistic as the rest of the market, and I find that whenever this should be the case for anyone, but whenever a stock goes from $60+ down to 48, people can start to panic. But this is where we were not too long ago, and yet, we were at 30 or $48 not long ago, and now BMNR has 2.7%, a little more than 2.7% of the outstanding supply of Ethereum. Yeah. Why isn't BMNR staked yet? Your guess is as good as mine. Well, I don't know even if that's true. My guess is that if they lock down Ethereum, then that could make the price fluctuate even faster. Okay. And so this is just from a comment that I heard that someone that is a smart person that sent to me, that because they have such a large percentage of ETH, they're the largest holder of Ethereum, their decision to stake or not is materially a different change, right? If me or you stake our Ethereum, that makes no difference. But we don't own 2.7% supply in ETH. For them to lock up $13 billion could have a slight impact on the price of Ethereum and make that, additional buys of ETH actually bring up the price faster. So while they are in this alchemy of 5%, accumulating ETH, they don't want the price to go up. They're fine with it being at this price right now. That's my understanding. Could be very, very wrong. I personally think BMNR hasn't staked yet due to accounting practices and reporting requirements. I mean, $15+ billion company can't hire a tax and accounting specialist. I don't know. There's a lot smaller businesses that can figure out how to stake. I think a $15 billion business can hire the best. But I don't know. Okay, let's see. Doesn't it take a month to stake? Well, I think the inflows to get into staking right now, I forget the website to check it on. But no, it's not. My understanding is on ETH, it's not that long to get in right now. It's pretty long to get out right now. Yeah. Inflows and outflows. Let's see if we can find something here. Let me know where I can find this. I can't find it right now. If I was doing a video, you'd know that it would definitely show up in that video. But because I'm live, I won't find it for an hour. That's usually how it goes. To unstake, yeah, it takes ages. Okay, if the regular companies that are going to be using ETH or ETF blockchains, the market has to stay high for ETH to continue to raise. Macro is cracking down to ETH will be particularly. I don't know exactly what you mean. Thought only a certain percentage of ETH can be staked for liquidity purposes. I don't know of anything like that, but if there is some sort of rule, but I think we're only at like 34% or something. Right? I think ETH is actually one of the lower things. I could be wrong. I mean, there's probably, but I haven't like read the white paper, so I'm not sure. Tanner, have you done the numbers on how much staking they could, or on how much money staking could bring them in? Yes, in one of my videos. Give me 1 second, I can bring that up. It really depends because ETH staking is like the payout is in ETH. So it depends on the price of ETH because the amount of ETH is going to stay quite the same, but how much you think you're going to get in US dollars can change. So it really does depend on where you think ETH is going to be. If, for example, they get to 5% ETH, and the annual ETH rewards is always going to be at a 3% take, about 181,000 Ethereum per year. Depending on the price of ETH, that's going to change the outcome pretty drastically. And at the time of this video, it seemed like putting the bottom rung at 4,700 was the thing to do. But now I need to put one at, 3,819 bucks. Jeez. IonQ blowing up. Where are we? We're in a similar place right now, 19% up. Trump is taking stakes, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to get going. Good luck to the quantum investors. You're going to have quite the day tomorrow. It's going to be fun. BMNR people, good luck to you. Thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. Bye for now.